Hello and welcome along to another episode of this Cricket 19 career with me, Daniel. It's episode 18 and today we've got our first final of our career. It's the end of season 2 and it's the 50 over Club Cup final. We're playing Oldham at the Oldham Club ground and hopefully we can get our first club trophy. It will likely be one of our last club games as we're very close to county selection. After the last couple of games off camera, we actually got a notice to say that we weren't far away and just one or two performances and we should get picked up. So this game could be the crucial one for us and we could end season 2 on the biggest high possible. Personal accolades are all well and good, but we want to win a trophy with our club as well, especially since we've been made captain. Well, we've done brilliantly in this competition in particular. We lost in the last club T20 game, but we did do quite well personally in that one. We got to about 47 pretty quickly, so something we can very much be proud of. And in the last league 50 over match, we did unfortunately lose as a side and got a pretty poor score of 5 as a batsman, but we did manage to do well with the ball in hand. Pretty economical despite not taking a wicket, so all round we've been doing okay, but we're not able to increase our batting attributes as it's really hard to level up on that regard. We're getting runs and we're averaging about 40, but we're still not levelling up quick enough, although our bowling's going up very quickly. But let's go and get into this Oldham game. We picked a relatively consistent side, tried to pick a strong batting order, going all the way down to number 8, and then we've got 3 outright bowlers, 3 more part-timers including myself, as I know this is the form of the game, particularly in the final, that we're going to have to bowl a few more overs. So we've given ourselves a break in recent times, but today we'll be back for the 50 over final. So let's go and get into this game against Oldham. We're very much the underdogs looking at those overall ratings. They're much better than us in the field as well, so we don't want to be taking too many risks with quick singles. But let's go and get into the match. The medium standard pitch continues to be a problem, but we're going to go and get into it and hopefully we'll put on a strong performance. We're back for the toss then. We're going to call tails. We'd say it never fails, but we've only actually won 1 toss so far. It was in that 3-day game from the last episode where we managed to get our first century in the second innings. And again we've lost here, so let's see what Oldham do. Fingers crossed they'll bowl. We're about to find out. He's very slow in telling us. They've chosen to bat, so we're going to be chasing. That's probably not ideal for us, as our batting order seems to collapse when we're chasing a relatively big score. So we've either got to restrict them really to a low total, or otherwise it's going to be very hard for us and we'll have to hog the strike in the second innings. We're going to need to produce a captain's performance here, so we'll come back when we get a chance with the ball, or if we're back for the second innings with the bat. Okay, we're back for the second innings. We didn't have to bowl at all in the end. A couple of times the simulation stopped to bring us back into bowl, but we went for alternatives instead, and you can see that's worked out pretty well for us. At the end of our last conversation, you may have noticed the first few wickets tumbling for Oldham, and they had a couple of absolute collapses in there. In the end, we bowled them out for 191, so under 4 and over required here. We couldn't have asked for much more after losing the toss, and now myself and Nathan Crompton have got to build an innings. If I can finish this game not out, we'll certainly win the final. So that's the attitude we've got to employ here. It will be slightly more defensive than particularly our last innings where we got to 100 and went absolutely ballistic. So probably a few less boundaries and a few more defensive shots, but we've got to make sure we win this final and finish our club time on a high, as well as proving our credentials as a captain. But if we go and have a quick look at the bowling scorecard, you can see the top order failed for Oldham. The bottom order collapsed as well, King doing the damage with a 5-wicket haul, and in the end a few of the middle order did put up a fight to get them to a half respectable total. I guess at least it gives them a chance. You can see there we're actually on the board despite not bowling a ball. The economy of the bowlers was fantastic. The spinner Morgan doing a good job, 1 for 48 off 9 overs, King with 5 for 46, and that was midway through his 10th he got the last wicket. Lawford got 1 and Jones got 2, and Leonard at the other end was very economical, 7 overs with none for 21. Just 3 and over off him. That's a fantastic return from the medium pacer. So we get into this innings with Crompton already getting 6 runs on the board. There must have been an extra as well, 2 extras in fact, because there's 7 runs there. I'm not quite sure how those numbers add up, but nevertheless leads a 7 without loss, and hopefully we'll be able to build a platform here to at least build a big partnership with Crompton. If we can get ourselves over the line here, this would be the biggest achievement of our career. After a century in the last episode, it could be the perfect follow-up. Let's get into it to face our first ball then, to see if we can follow up Crompton's first over, where he did really well and added a few runs. The first ball will be against Jameson. I'm pretty sure he's a left arm seamer, not the best field for us at the moment, and a short ball to start which we pull away. A pretty confident shot to the short ball by our standards. We often get out and the fielder's missed it completely. It was almost straight at him, but it's gone through for 4, and that's the perfect start to our innings. We play a shot off our weakness and it goes all the way to the boundary. I've got to see the replay here. It surely should have been stopped. It should. He just sort of ran past it, and in the end we get 4 off the first ball. Let's see if we can do as well off the second. It's exactly the same field. It's outside off stump, but I'm seeing if we can get it to the leg side. We try and get everything to that side if possible, and due to the fact there's only that one man out there, it's going to be 2 quite easily. 6 off the first 2 balls, and wouldn't it be great if we could get back-to-back centuries on camera? Third ball of the over and still no change in the field. If we do get one wide outside off stump, there is still the option to go down to third man as he's all the way back on the boundary. Unfortunately we completely missed that one though. Halfway through the over and Jameson's charging in again. This one's a little bit narrower, although we do hit it closer to the fielder and Nathan Crompton's back on strike. We're back on strike. Crompton's 8 off 10. The message for 3 hits coming up, but I'm pretty sure it's not. We're not going to take the risk anyway, although there was no need with that ball to the leg side. We're going to get a comfortable 2 again, and we're moving along quite nicely here. With the required rate at under 4 and over, there's no need for us to try and go the aerial route. Second ball of the paceman's over. It's Ellis, the fast bowler, who did cause us some trouble in the past this season. Again, it's a ball outside leg stump though, and it's going to be another easy 2. As there's no man out on the boundary there. The infielder's doing well to chase it, but surely he's going to tire eventually. Third ball of the over and we're looking to score runs off every single delivery. This one's straight and we do manage to flick it away, and I think it's going to be 2 again. It's a really poor shot. It barely left the bat and it was right off the inside edge. Fourth ball of the over and after 3 2s in a row, we'll certainly be looking for that again, though this one's a brilliant seaming away delivery and it's gone through to the keeper for a dot ball. Penultimate ball of the over, a bit of a better field here, spread quite nicely. It's going to be hard to score off, but we do manage to flick one outside off stump, just a single to put Crompton on strike. He'll face the last ball of the Ellis over. Back in for Jameson after Crompton gets a single off him, not before he hit him for 6 off the first ball though, so certainly a good start to the over. We play that one a little bit late, but it's into the ground and there's no risk of a wicket, although it is a dot ball to start for Jameson. Not doing well off him, but we're 14 off 10, so no complaints. He's charging in for the 4th ball of the over. This one's drifted to the leg side. It's just off the pads, but it is going to be a single, and we move on to 33. A pretty good run rate so far. We're well ahead of the required rate. 4 overs gone and we're absolutely flying. Crompton has hit a few dot balls off the end of the last over. This one's outside off stump and we've edged it through. Is it going to be out? Of course it is. I'm not sure what the hold up was there, but we've given away our wicket too easily. Again playing outside off stump to the seamers. It's a thick edge off the top of the bat and it's a good take in the end from the outside slips. We get out for a pretty poor score of 15 off just 12 balls as well. So we're going to need some help from our teammates here. We are almost a 5th of the way to the total, but Doherty comes in to partner Crompton, and let's just simulate and see what the score is. Fingers crossed we'll still lift the trophy, though it's going to be difficult from here. It looks like we've done it despite a mini collapse at the start. 193 for 3. Evan King of course is man of the match. He took 5 wickets in the first innings. Crompton stays not out on 76. Emulates what we were trying to do at the other end. Oliver Jones with a slow 52 by his standards, but he's not out at the end of the innings. Aidan Doherty got 37 too, so probably only O'Keefe failed in that knock. 1 off 2 for him, but the rest of the batsmen all contributed. So we are going to lift the trophy at the end of season 2. I'm not sure if we'll see an animation for it. Let's skip through and find out if we do. It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Well, despite a pretty poor showing in that final, our captaincy's obviously impressing a bit. Teams from the JLT Sheffield Shield in Australia are starting to become interested in me. If we keep getting better, we're going to be hard to ignore, and those are the words of our agent. But the competition's now complete. Leeds are the holders. We win the trophy in the 50 over cup, so something to celebrate as captain, but now we obviously want to get to county level. As always at the end of the season, let's go and have a look at our selection status. We'll go go and check our skills as well, and we'll also review our activity for the season to see how our batting average is coming along and how we've done across all competitions. Comparing ourselves to our peers is important to see how well we're really doing at this level. If we don't stand out, we won't reach county level, so that's going to be particularly important. But let's firstly look at the statistics. We'll deal with our career ones in a moment, but the selection status says we're being considered for the County Cup and One Day Cup. We're also a long way off for a few of the T20s abroad. That's a bit of a surprise. The Caribbean Cricket Cup and the Pakistan Premier Plate are also a fair way off for the England T20 Slam and a long way off for the Sheffield Shield. So good to see movement abroad as well. We're obviously starting to make a bit of an impression. But the County Cup is the one we've got to get to. Once we get there, I'm sure we'll improve quickly. Let's go back to the career screen to see our overall averages. Of course, these are now over 2 seasons. With the bat, our average is up to 36. It was in the 20s at the end of last year. 100, 11 50s, 164s now. We still haven't got a 6 to our record yet, but I'm sure that will come in time. Over 1,300 runs, and in 41 innings we've managed 3 not outs, and that high score of 134 runs, which you obviously saw in the last episode. With the ball, we've been far less prominent this year, particularly since taking the captaincy. 21 wickets in 31 matches, and since I've been made captain, we've just bowled the odd economical over. We've not really been one of the frontline spinners. So an average of 18.57 and an economy of under 2. A pretty good record for a part-time spinner, and I'm sure we'll be competent when called upon. But let's go and have a look at the skills quickly as well. You can see we've still got no batting ability points, so we can't level up across the board despite having 6 available skill points. So we'll have to wait a little while longer for that before we can start to improve our batting attributes. In terms of bowling, we could improve, but I really want to focus on the bat for now, and the same in fielding as well really. We're high where we want to be, and although we want to improve that area of our game, we haven't got any ability points, so it makes it very hard to improve. It's one of the slight weaknesses of simulating, but obviously the career would take far too long if you were in the field for every over. We've got the next perk coming at level 20, and we can't be far off that now. We're on level 18, so not far away at all. That's something we can really look forward to. But if we go to the standings for the season, just to see where we're placed as an individual on the charts, in terms of runs in the 3-day season, we're the joint 3rd highest alongside our teammate O'Keefe. Robson and Hendricks above us, but that's a really good return, the 3rd top run scorer, something that would certainly stand out. And our strike rate's very almost 100 too, so we're very much scoring at a quicker rate than others, which is something again that will make us look good. Just 100 and 2 50s in that form, 73 threes and 3 catches which were obviously simulated. None of them were caught and bowled, but an average of 48, and that's something Alistair Cook would be looking for. A big average in 3-day cricket. Of course it's our priority, we want to be test captain, and we've got to be able to play like Alistair Cook, something we've proved a few times this year. If we switch to the ball, we'll find out how we've done in this competition. Probably not too well. We didn't bowl many overs, so I wouldn't have thought there'll be many wickets going. We're right down near the bottom here. 3 wickets for 104 runs, and off 318 deliveries. Our economy's almost 2 and over, which is better than most of our peers, but still isn't great by our standards. 15 for 2 is our best bowling innings, and 40 for 2 in a match. So again, not too bad, but nothing that stands out there. You wouldn't expect it as a part-timer, so let's move on to the 50 over cup. Again, we've made the top page for run scoring in this competition. 217 runs off 277 balls, a strike rate of around 80. Not the best in this competition, but a couple of times of course we've been chasing low totals and just making sure we help get our side there. So I'm not too worried about our strike rate in that, as long as we're competing on the run scored front. As skipper, we've got to adjust our style to the stage of the game, and it looks like we've done that well this year. 2 not outs and 3 50s, something that will certainly help our average. You can see it's up there on 72, and that's a really proud number for us. We'd love to be right at the top of the charts in that one. Let's look at the bowling stats for the 50 over cup too. Again, probably not taken many wickets. 5 for 52 runs, but an economy of under 1.5, and that's helped us been able to chase down lower scores as we've been able to restrict our opponents. 216 balls, 52 runs, that's absolutely sensational. 3 for 17 are our best innings figures, and there aren't many better than that on the board. Then finally over to the T20 tournament. Of course, we narrowly missed out on the final in this one. 3 wins and 2 defeats, and in the end we finished in 3rd place as a side. Let's go and see where we are here. Not on the top page for runs scored, unfortunately. 106 off 5 innings. We had a couple of failures in this one this year. No 50s, no 100s, which is a bit of a contrast to last year, where we got 3 50s in 5 games and were often let down by our teammates. Our strike rate's good, but an average of only 21, and we really need to try and get that closer to 30 if we're to stand out at this level too. Then finally the bowling stats for this one. I don't know how many wickets we took this year. I don't think many in this form of the game. We were mostly used for economy. So let's go down and see if we took any. We didn't. 41 runs off 48 balls, an economy of 5.12, but we didn't bowl many overs at all. Mainly because once we were captain, there were better options in the squad and we were smart enough to use them. So a really decent season overall. Of course the 50 over cup stands out, mainly because we had not out innings, and of course the club was more successful. But we're doing really well in 3-day cricket too. It's just the T20 to follow. As we improve our attributes and are able to hit bigger, I'm sure the scores in that competition will follow the rest. But if you did enjoy this episode and a fantastic season for our club side, culminating in a win in the 50 over cup, despite us not being on our best form, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you've thought of our second season. Of course there have been some massive landmarks. In the last episode we had our 1st century of our career. That's a personal accolade we won't ever forget. And then today obviously winning the Northern Cup, the 50 over competition for our club side. That's something to be proud of too, and as captain it means that little bit more. Let's go through to the next event just to see if we get a county call up this year. It doesn't look like we're going to, unfortunately, so we'll be back for the start of our 3rd season. I'd imagine that's still going to be at club level, and then after a couple of good performances we may make it to the county stage. Subscribe to the channel for 3 episodes a week from this Cricket 19 career, every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday at midday. You can see we're back for the start of season 3 now, and we'll have some action from that 3-day game in the next episode on Saturday. A massive thank you to everyone that's followed this series, as well as the Ashes Test playthrough we did beforehand. I really do appreciate the support with both series, and I can't thank you enough for giving it a try. There's also daily FM19 content every day at 4:30. Firstly from our new FM19 challenge, that one where we're trying to save a giant, and then our other long-term story with Torquay United, where we're trying to take them from the bottom playable league to the top of English and European football. There's also weekly content from my Snooker 19 career, that's every Friday at 4:30. But a massive thanks for watching this one and your continued support with the series. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time for another important episode as we look to start season 3 on fire and force our way into the Yorkshire side.